Welcome, 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 our friends and our clients. We are happy to see you in our studio. My name is Inga Accarpio. I'm working with Inquest Realty, and I would like to introduce another person who is in the studio as well, and his name is Yuri Baturenko. He is owner and founder of the Vanguard Mortgage Group. So, Yuri, welcome to the studio.
Hello, Inga. Hello, friends. I'm happy to be here with you, and let's talk about mortgages and real estate.
Okay, it's our favorite team to talk about, and
Absolutely.
yes, and we're gonna give some updates regarding the mortgages and the industry. We're also gonna answer some questions that we always have from our clients. And but I wanna ask you, Yuri, the first question that a lot of clients asking me, and I would like to know as well. So, what is LTV and how we can make it work for us or for clients?
Okay. So, good question. It's very commonly used, especially by mortgage professionals. It's a everyday word, and like I use abbreviations every day, and I fail to understand that some clients don't really know these things because they are not really involved in that, and it's the first time that they are actually looking into the mortgage. So LTV stands for loan to value. That is what abbreviation stands for. But in fact, everybody knows what down payment is. So LTV is actually opposite of down payment, which means is that if you are putting down payment of 10%, that means that LTV is at 90%. So it's basically 100% minus down payment. That's going to be your loan to value, LTV. Now, why is it important? Well, there are a few things to mention about when talking about LTV. First, there are maximum LTVs, minimum down payments that are available for certain products. That's one. Second, LTV, the lower is LTV, the higher, the lower is LTV, the lower is the risk for the bank. That means that the rate also will be lower. So in other words, the more money you put as down payment, the lower the rate will be, and the less risk for the bank. So when we're talking about maximum LTVs, the maximum LTV is offered by FHA on FHA loans. Those they are special. They are protected by special insurance. That's why they allow the highest LTVs, and it can be 97%, meaning that you can only put 3% down payment and then finance everything else. Now, the downturn is that it's very hard to buy condo that will in Florida that will be FHA approved. It's only a handful of them that would pass FHA approval. So another thing to mention in LTVs is 80% LTV. What happens with 80% or threshold of 80%? If LTV is more than 80%, then mortgage insurance appears on the loan, which makes a payment higher, and this money actually goes nowhere. So if there is a way of putting 20% of more as a down payment to have LTV at 80 or less, I would always advise to do that because then you won't have mortgage insurance. Another thing to consider in Florida, condominium, when purchasing condominium, LTV for limited review, and we'll cover that topic separately at some stage. But basically, LTV for limited review has to be 75%, right? For investment and second homes, it's 70%. So these are a lot of factors to consider, and sometimes you might be missing it at the back of your head that you would think, oh, I can put 10% down, but then this condo is not passing full review, and that means you have to go to 25% down payment. So these are important things. That's why it's from the beginning, it's very important to work with the professionals who know these things, and then they can advise and structure the mortgage and financing the best way possible. So
Definitely, because you're gonna save the time and you're gonna save somebody's money, and to start it in the right way, that's the most important
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. It is. If you get it, I mean, to be prepared is the best thing than starting something, not even knowing where you're going, first of all. Second, uh, sometimes it's necessary to get ready for mortgage, right? It's necessary to plan certain things. That way the process goes smooth. And that's why it is also important to consult with the professionals. So enough about
Definitely.
this because I can talk about it for a long time.
Thank you, thank you. I hope our listeners understood, but they will have for sure more questions that we can come back in the next
Of course,
hour.
absolutely. Either I or they can always pick up the phone and call, and I'll be happy to explain.
Yeah, you have all the phone numbers and your website,
Right,
so they can always relay
right,
and ask more.
right. And I
Okay.
want to ask you, Inga, about inspections. In your opinion, how important it is to do inspections? And then some people think that it's maybe for home it is, for house it is, but for condo it's not. And then what are the pros and cons of doing inspection?
That's a really good question because every client I have, they asking me, should I do the inspection? And my answer is always yes. You must do the inspection because it's not only for homes to see the structural damages, to find some issues with the roof, with the walls, or with the pools. It's also in the condominium because you don't know the conditions. Even they say sometimes like, oh, the condo association is responsible for everything. Not really, because they're not responsible for your AC, they're not responsible for your appliances. And sometimes when you miss to do the inspection, you kind of end up with thousands and thousands of dollars at the end of the closing because you're going to find out your AC is really old, you're going to find out your dishwasher or washer and dryer is not working. So the inspection is extremely important, and I think it worth every penny. It's actually not that expensive if you think it's starting from 275 to $500, which you're saving thousands after that. So it's really important. And I will tell to every of my client, please do the inspection. And this is step number one after the contract.
That's
Okay.
great. That's great, Inga. I know actually realtors. It's also important to have a good inspector in a sense that finding things because some inspectors they just go quickly and like yeah this is good, this is good, this is good, and some inspectors are really digging into things. And then some
Absolutely.
realtors say that don't like inspections much because it creates additional work for realtors and they would have to negotiate the price, or sometimes the client might even pull out of the contract based on the information. And I always admire realtors that actually do recommend that and actually stimulate the clients to do inspections because to me it's also super important.
Super
uh,
important. And I don't mind my clients to walk away from the deal that has so many damages in the property because it's going to influence your financing, it's going to influence your insurance, and it's like step down the road that you don't want to have those issues. So that's why like I don't mind to do the inspection, negotiate whatever we need to do on the beginning, and just continue with open mind and open soul, and clean in front of your clients, so you did what you need to do to protect them. Okay, so another question, we all want to know about new updates in the mortgages. So what's happening? Everyone's scared. The rates are coming up, so what's
Correct.
new is going on?
Correct. So again, it happened yesterday, but it's still a very, very important and very fresh information about current rate of inflation. The data was published for July yesterday, and the rate of inflation is announced of 8.5%. And the expectations were at 8.7, so it fell even below expectations. That means that Fed can tap themselves on the shoulder and say like we are doing good job by rising rates. See, we are actually managing inflation now. It is going down, and it is going down even more than we expected, which is great news for us because they were looking at that data also, and on the previous meeting, they said that if we are managing to curb inflation and reverse it, that means that we are not going to be raising rates so rapidly, or might hold on for raising rates at all. So what it means for us that the rates will remain where they are now for at least a month, hopefully longer, because they are not as high now. They're at fives, and remember, this is a normal rate. So what we have seen before for a year, when they were at twos, 2.5, between 2 and 3, basically, that was historically low. That happens once in a blue moon. So what we have now is average. It's good. It's what it's supposed to be for the healthy economy. So when we were talking about market curbing down and shrinking and all that, that's because people didn't know what to expect. Inflation is raising, and Fed is every meeting they raise 0.5% or 0.75, and then it's scary, right? So a lot of people kind of decide, no, we're gonna wait, we're gonna see. And so now they're signaling that economy is doing okay. We are in our normal situation now. So it does give ease for the market participants, first of all. Second, it gives peace of mind for borrowers and for the clients and for those who can borrow. So now, when it comes to and then again, nothing changed significantly in underwriting or in banks' behavior towards clients. So we don't see any something like that. They don't want to do more loans now, or they're very aggressive. It's kind of like plain, no significant moves on qualified mortgages. When it comes to non-qualified mortgages, those that are done with the limited income review, or those that are looking at potential rent income and qualify borrowers based on that. On that market is still a little bit unstable, and rates went up on that segment, and they're not coming down as yet. So because I believe that investors that buy non-QM mortgages, they are uncertain how they're going to be able to securitize and sell bonds. They need a little bit more of stability, and they need to see a little bit more by things done by government, I suppose, and then also a little bit more extensive period of time to see that things are stable. Then it will be easier for them to invest in mortgages for the purpose of securitization. So that is what I see on the financial markets related to the mortgages and interest rates. And now I would want
That's
to
great. That's great news, actually, because
yeah.
I thought it's going to be more scary. So we need to
No,
give the
it's
sign to the
actually, yes.
people. Don't be scared. Continue
Don't.
to
It's a good
finance.
time. It's a good time to buy. And if the rate is 5.5, I always say that rate is 5% and inflation is 8.5. You borrowing at 5, and your
Exactly.
money loses value at speed of 8.5. Basically, by borrowing, you're earning money right there.
Money.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
That's a good point. That's a good
right. It's
point.
not
Yeah.
exactly the way to look at it, but it is something like that. So yes, and then what is your outlook, Inga, on Florida? Florida specifically market, is a lot of activities slowing down? Is it starting to build up? And why Florida stands out from other states?
Other states, yeah. I have a lot of questions. My other clients from New York or from Chicago, they asking this question: what's happening? Florida is like blooming. We are blooming because of many things that happen. So during the COVID, a lot of companies decide to work from home, and they decide to work from nice home. So where it's warm, where it's nice, where it's a lot of good beaches. So a lot of companies from New York, financial and tech companies, and from Silicon Valley, they moved to Florida. So our mayor of Miami, they gave them tax deductions. They offer them extremely good concierge services, which financed by Miami. And also they open the loans that help them to set up the offices, and it's all paid by Miami. So that's why a lot of people came. They brought the companies, they brought their employees, a lot of employees with really good salaries. So it's definitely made our market more like hot.
And
Let's
exactly,
say
yes,
hot market.
it's beaten California prices in Florida, beaten California prices, because I work in both
Yeah.
states, and I can tell for sure that prices in Florida, South Florida, I'm talking about South Florida only, not the whole state of Florida. South Florida, they became higher than prices in California for the real estate,
Yes.
for the for the rent. California
Yep.
actually a little bit went down, where Florida gained so much, and still is not, nothing is coming down in Florida.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. And we have a high demand on the rent. And also we have high demand on the commercial real estate as well, because a lot of companies, they need a lot of spaces. So our commercial rent and purchases, they went up a lot as well.
Right.
So
Also,
that,
yeah. Also,
ex-
I'd like to add that increase in interest rates and in the market slowdown, they came together with the summer in Florida, and a lot of people in summer activities in Florida, they shrink, because a lot of
yeah,
people go for vacation after hard working year, because summer is considered not to be the best time in Florida. Well, I like it personally, but a lot of people prefer to go for vacation in summer, so business kind of shrinks, and all business activities shrink, including real estate. And it happened together with the rate increases, right? So a lot of people got scared that, oh, there is something that is going on, and then, well, we're gonna see now in autumn, when things pick up, when people coming back, that it's not, that everything is okay in normal, and we'll move on.
yeah. Yeah, market is really good. So, and we have a great news from the mortgage. And we happy to see you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Yuri, for answering all the questions. So again, the Yuri Baturin in our studio with Vanguard Mortgage Group. We happy to see you. And thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you, Inga. Friends, see you again soon. It's always my pleasure to be in studio and to talk about real estate and